Hello everyone, welcome to our fourth lecture on coronary occlusion. Before proceeding any further, let's have a quick look on what we have learned till now. This is, as you know, part 4 of the lecture series on coronary occlusion. We have already studied, we have already have 3 lectures, and this is fourth lecture in the series of coronary occlusion. So till now we have seen that coronary arteries supply blood to heart and their blockage results in ischemic heart disease, also known as IHD. Then we learned about three main causes of ischemic heart disease or etiopathogenesis of ischemic heart disease, namely coronary atherosclerosis, second superadded changes in coronary atherosclerosis, and third one non-atherosclerotic causes. Next we learned about effects of ischemic heart disease. They are first one is asymptomatic state. That means sometimes ischemic heart disease doesn't produce any symptoms, so that state is called as asymptomatic state. Next one was angina pectoris, then acute myocardial infarction, then chronic ischemic heart disease, also called as ischemic cardiomyopathy, also called as myocardial fibrosis, and next and last one was sudden cardiac death. So these are effects of ischemic heart disease: asymptomatic state, angina pectoris, acute MI, chronic ischemic heart disease, ischemic cardiomyopathy or myocardial fibrosis, and last one is sudden cardiac death. So out of these we have already learned about asymptomatic state and angina pectoris. Now in this lecture we will look at third effect, that is myocardial infarction or acute myocardial infarction. So first of all, what is acute myocardial infarction? So let's break down the term for easy understanding. Always do this thing whenever you come across a new term. So break down and look at its meaning of each part. So you will get an idea of what is the meaning, and also if some word comes in another term, you will know about what it is all about. Okay, so here in acute myocardial infarction, first part is acute. So acute means severe and sudden in onset. Second part is myocardial. We have already seen that myo means muscles, cardial means of heart. So myocardial means related with muscles of heart. And third one is infarction. Infarction means tissue death due to inadequate blood supply. Infarction means tissue death due to inadequate blood supply. So if you add all these, acute myocardial infarction means death of heart muscles due to inadequate blood supply. Okay, myocardial infarction means death of heart muscles due to inadequate blood supply. So acute myocardial infarction is also called only as myocardial infarction or simply as MI. This infarction mostly occurs in left ventricle of the heart. Okay. Now we will see etiopathogenesis of myocardial infarction. But first, what is meaning of etiopathogenesis? So here again we will break down the term for easy understanding. Etio means cause, pathos means disease, and genesis means origin. So to sum up, etiopathogenesis means the cause, origin and development of a disease. Okay, now let's look at the causes or etiopathogenesis of myocardial infarction or MI. So it is mostly caused by atherosclerosis, and there are some non-atherosclerotic causes also, like coronary vasospasm, arteritis, coronary ostial stenosis, embolism, thrombotic diseases, trauma and outside compression. So all these causes are already described under ischemic heart disease. So these causes are same to that. You can study from there also. So this is etiopathogenesis. Now we will look at types of infarcts, type of myocardial infarcts. So myocardial infarcts are classified based on various criteria. First classification is based on anatomic region of the left ventricle involved. You have already seen that most commonly left ventricle is involved in an infarct. So which portion of the left ventricle involved, which area, which anatomical area or anatomical region is involved, based on that infarct is there are different types of infarct, namely anterior, posterior, lateral, septal and circumferential. And combination of all these above position is also possible, like an infarct may be anterolateral, it may be posterolateral or anteroseptal also. Okay, so this is first classification based on anatomic region involved. Now we will look at second classification, which is based on age of the infarct. So according to age, they may be called as fresh or old. Fresh infarcts are also called as acute or recent, and old infarcts are also called as healed or organized. So it is very clear from the word fresh or old that fresh infarcts which are new and old infarcts which are old, which considerable time has passed. Now third classification. So third classification is according to thickness of heart wall involved. So according to this, infarcts are classified as transmural or subendocardial. Transmural and subendocardial. Transmural, in previous lecture we have already explained that trans means across and mural means wall. So transmural means across wall. So transmural infarcts involve full thickness of the wall of the heart. It involves full thickness. Next is subendocardial infarcts. They involve only inner third or half of the thickness of the wall of the heart. They do not involve full thickness, only half or inner third. So here there is an image which shows transmural infarct and subendocardial infarct. So you can see that in transmural whole thickness is involved, and in subendocardial only half thickness is involved. And here also a table is given. So this table shows contrasting features of transmural and subendocardial infarcts. So you already know that about thickness, that is transmural involves full thickness and subendocardial involves only half or 1/3 of the inner surface. Next is frequency. So transmural infarcts are more frequent, that is about 95% of infarcts are transmural, and only 5% are subendocardial. So and next is distribution. Transmural infarcts are found in specific areas, while subendocardial infarcts are found in circumference. Next is pathogenesis. So transmural infarcts are mostly caused by coronary stenosis, while subendocardial infarcts are mostly caused by hypoperfusion of myocardium. Hypo means less, hyper means more and hypo means less. So blood supply is less in hypoperfusion of myocardium. Next feature is coronary thrombosis. So coronary thrombosis is common in transmural infarct and rare in subendocardial infarct. And similarly epicarditis, that is inflammation of epicardium, is commonly seen in transmural infarct and it is absent in subendocardial infarct. So this is it from me today. In today's lecture we have learned about etiopathogenesis and types of myocardial infarction, and in next lecture we will study about morphologic features, diagnosis and complications of myocardial infarction. So hope that you would have enjoyed this lecture, and if you have any doubt please ask in comment section. See you again in next lecture. Take care. Bye.